Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Imperial Holonet. I'm JID123,
I'm Brent Leader Antilles.
and today we have a special guest. Introduce yourself, special guest.
Hello, I'm Casey. I'm here to talk about whatever we can talk about.
Yay, special guest. So today we're doing our weekly news, because this time, hopefully, we can actually do some weekly news, if nobody's computer dies on me. So, let us begin with some news on the front of DC. DC has finally announced Ben Affleck is doing a solo Batman movie because Ben Affleck, with probably the one good thing about Batman v Superman, apart from maybe Wonder Woman, and they're giving him his own solo film written by him and Jeff Johns and directed by Ben Affleck. Batman is directing his own film. So, Red, what are your takes on this?
Uh, well, this has been unofficially confirmed since what was it, Comic-Con last year?
Pretty much. I mean, that whole rumor back in the day.
Yeah, and so is John still how involved will Johns be in this is the question.
I don't know. That's probably something that will be revealed over time.
Oh, he said he and I are working together on something and I'm really excited. And so yeah, pretty much they I guess are co-writing it or at least he's supervising. So that's good because I know a lot of people don't like Johnson's writing on Batman, and I'd agree if Earth One hadn't happened.
Keep some of that Earth One stuff. That's all we ask. Casey, what are your thoughts as the newcomer to our group for this news hour or news segment?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I actually really like this because I really like Jeff Johns' works. I read a bunch of his stuff, and the fact that unless they confirm it otherwise, they don't have David Goyer's name on this, so that means it'll actually be a good script, which would be nice.
I'm surprised Chris Terrio isn't involved, but maybe he is just. Well, he's working on it.
Yeah, that too, but. Because that's the reason why I'm actually looking forward to some of the other DC films is because they don't have Goyer on it. So
Or Snyder.
yeah, or Snyder. But yeah, well, I thought Ben Affleck was okay as Batman. Uh, I felt that all the actors in Batman vs Superman really weren't able to do much anyways. So
Pretty
the
much. But,
script really did not allow them to do anything.
yeah.
But
So, Casey.
yeah, this sounds like a great idea.
Would you want this to be a prequel to Batman vs Superman or a sequel?
I think I'd just like it better if it was just its own story. Um, and thankfully, because of what happens in Batman v Superman, we don't have to do Batman origin story. We don't have to do any of that origin garbage. Just like have Batman just be Batman. You know.
Uh, yeah. Red, sequel or prequel?
Uh,
And just not actually doing a Batman origin, mind you, just just in the timeline.
I would have went with sequel, except the fact, or I would have went with prequel previously, but the fact that Batman v Superman was so confused on the character, I feel like you'd have to do a sequel that has a lot of flashbacks to like whichever Robin died, and kind of just almost make the entire film fixing Batman v Superman's problems.
Hmm.
You want to do Under the Red Hood? Is that what you're saying?
Uh, well, that would be kind of hard to do because this Batman is a cold-blooded killer. I just mean
Yeah.
showing what happened to Jason. Though I guess you could use Red Hood or another anti-Batman. Like I think Wrath would be an interesting thing to do, but have it be instead of have it be have Wrath have it be his sidekick Scorn, and kind of explore Bruce's reaction to Jason's death through Scorn's reaction to his mentor's death. Though at the same time, you'd have to do flashbacks to Wrath's death.
Yeah. Well, not only that, I hate to say it, but that's the sort of characters that they're not gonna pick just because
Mm.
nobody knows them.
I guess Prometheus probably would, because he got a little bit of traction with the whole. Is he going to be in Origins? Is he going to be in Arkham? Well, he was supposed to be in Arkham Knight.
Hmm.
You see,
Yeah, that could work.
I guess I'm a bit 50-50 because on the one hand, I feel that doing a sequel it's gonna be interesting when they do sequels because I'm always of the impression that a lot of the problems with Batman versus Superman, apart from whatever Goyer left behind, definitely just come from direction of Snyder. I mean, is Batman that so much a killer, or is that just Snyder being Mr. Snyder? I like to blow things up and believe that just because a bullet killed the person doesn't mean Batman did.
Hmm.
So my question to that would be: are they going to acknowledge the problem, or are they just going to like ignore it because the script didn't? I haven't seen the script, so I can't say the script might have not have intended that way, but because of Snyder directing it that way, it comes off that way, or which is
Both.
which is why if they did a prequel, that definitely helps with at least the character, giving us a more true to form Batman. But if Ben Affleck is, I mean, I could see Ben Affleck trying his best to pull it off and correct mistakes, but I feel doing that would also just mean it's just more reactionary. Warner Brothers is trying to do damage control all the time, and we're not pushing forward here. I mean, we gotta push forward. We can't keep just going back and fixing the problems again and again and again. Which is why I'm still worried about Suicide Squad a little bit, but we'll get to that.
Which
So,
is only that film seems like it's taking some measures to fix that. Like, I mean, we're getting to the trailer later, but the fact that there was that scene specifically of just Bruce saving Harley Quinn, that they totally showed that just to counter Batman v Superman.
oh, definitely. Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, like in the trailer, that is. I don't
Right.
think.
Yeah, the fact that they showed that footage a few weeks later is poignant.
So yeah. So
Well,
I'm.
well,
Oh,
actually, I was going to ask. So, since if you say you want it as a prequel,
no,
right?
I'm 50-50 to be quite honest with you. I mean,
Okay.
I'm more curious than anything else. I mean, prequel seems
Well,
like the easy route because then you can just ignore what happened to Batman v Superman. Because my whole plan is like do prequels and just retcon Batman versus Superman and do Man of Steel 2 and make that the official continuation. But I don't know if they'll do that. So
so you want us to like try to do a Days of Future Past, where we just do a
um,
movie that just gets rid of all the bad stuff, right?
almost, but like even just not even do a movie that fixes the problem. Just go full on forward, plow
Well,
through Man of Steel 2. But I
well, if
don't.
that's the case, if this is a sequel,
Yeah.
should you do you think it should be before Justice League,
Oh,
which they're also doing?
oh, definitely. Everything's probably going to be before Justice League. Yeah, I want it to be before Justice League. Be quite honest. Get a little more inside these characters' heads a little bit if that's the plan they're going to go with. I don't even know if Justice League is still going at this point. Is it? I heard.
Oh
It's
yeah,
being
definitely.
filmed.
Oh
It,
god.
they're
Oh yeah.
filming it, so
Oh gosh, they haven't fired Snyder. Like yikes! Now I'm scared. But
Well, they don't want to have a Josh Trank situation again.
eh,
Like, what do you call it, dead?
Fantastic Four.
Yeah,
True, but that's not Justice League. Fantastic Four. We're gonna get
yeah,
Fantastic.
but I mean, I just mean can't getting rid of the director.
Oh, that's true.
well, not only that, like Batman v Superman, I think was fully filmed in 2014, and they just decided to wait till 2016, which they really should have known that they had problems by then.
So
So they may delay Justice League, but still film it.
that's true.
Yeah,
That's true. That's possible. That's possible. So yeah, I'm 50-50 whether or not I want it to be sequel or prequel. But I am excited it's Ben Affleck, and I trust his hands a lot more than I do with Snyder and Goyer. I do still trust Terrio though, so I hope Terrio can maybe even do better with Justice League. Hopefully. So yeah, that's my thoughts. So on to the Suicide Squad trailer. Is that next?
Godzilla.
Oh, Godzilla, right. This is my territory. So yes, okay. So Godzilla Resurgence, as the new name is called, first trailer came out. And did you guys see the trailer? I just want to know.
I have
No.
not.
Okay, so I guess I'm the only one going to talk about this then. And I'm really excited about this film. It looks really awesome. Godzilla looks horrifying in this movie, scarier than anything. But I just want to do a little story because this film is getting is very, very semi-controversial in the Godzilla community. The best way I can describe this film to Godzilla fans is like this. For you, Red, I think this is the best example I can give. Imagine if Force Awakens came out, everything happened the same way. It was a success, $2 billion, that sort of thing. But then next couple weeks later, George Lucas decides he says, "I'm going to film Star Wars Episode 7, Shin Star Wars," because Shin, in translated in English, can also mean real. So this could mean real Godzilla or real Star Wars. So this is kind of like so the whole I know it's funny. So the whole thing
That's a kick to the guts for everyone working on that project.
Yeah, I know that's kind of why this film is somewhat controversial because 2014 was both a success financially and critically for the most part. It has a bit of a reception that Force Awakens did from Godzilla fans and kind of Man of Steel reception as well. And Toho Studios just decided to come and make their own Godzilla from Japan. And this movie is definitely going back to Godzilla's more dark original roots as like the allegory for the atomic bomb, the great destroyer, nature incarnate that just, you cannot stop, you cannot destroy, it will strike you down, it will kill you, Godzilla will destroy us all, kind of a thing. So that too is why this movie's a bit controversial because Godzilla 2014 was a success, it's getting a sequel, but then Toho decides, they want to make the real Godzilla. So it's kind of like, and it's also kind of, like, we feel like they're kind of cashing in a little bit with this film, because Godzilla's kind of coming back in popularity again. But that being said, the directors of these films are pretty esteemed for the most part. Let me look it up, the directors. Research.
I looked up
Hideki
the one, the Shinji Hijiki. He's part of this.
Yeah.
He's really, really good.
He did like Attack on Titans, special
He did
effects.
Evangelion.
Yeah, so did Hideki Anno, the director. So they do have so they're not, it's not a complete crash grab. It's definitely got some talent behind this. So the film that's the bright spot here. The design is a bit. I like the design. It's definitely Godzilla, and that's a good thing because I've seen what a bad Godzilla design looked like in '98. But for the most part, yeah. But it's definitely very odd because this is both different and similar at the same time. So I'm just gonna have to see the film to fully get a good grasp when it comes out in America, because they are going to do an American release of this film, thankfully. And I'm just curious to see what they have. So that's pretty much it for my thoughts on this film. You guys aren't big Godzilla fans, are you?
Nope.
I'm not completely. I have watched some of the old ones, which, wow, I will say that I remember I originally watched them when I was a kid, and even though I remember back then they have not aged well.
Yeah,
but
the bigger ones did. Some of them have.
Yeah. I've been looking at what the directors they have, and one of the directors here, I think he's definitely going to help because he did the Gamera reboots.
Right, Gamera.
Yeah, I've watched a bunch of the Gamera stuff, but through Mystery Science Theater.
That's true. The Gamera reboots. The actual 90s Gamera are actually pretty good movies, actually. Godzilla is kind of interesting because it starts off like really dark and serious. Like, it started off the original Godzilla is a classical masterpiece. It's a masterpiece film, critically acclaimed, all that stuff. And then it kind of devolved into sci-fi cheese. And then it kind of came back in dark and then kind of devolved a little bit. And then just kind of goes up and down. This seems to be like returning, trying to be more traditional to their original classical roots. So yeah, that's all I really have to say on Godzilla. Now Suicide Squad, or do you want to do Aftermath next?
But also, I want to say one more thing.
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
With Godzilla. There's an old pic I found on the internet a long time ago, because my dad also was an old Godzilla fan.
Ooh.
It has this. You watch Godzilla backwards. It's about a giant lizard who helps rebuild a half-burnt city, and then walks back into the ocean.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And I was like, it's totally true.
It is true. So, yeah. So yeah, that's both the excitingness and kind of controversial nature of this film. So do you want to do Aftermath or Suicide Squad? Uh,
Uh, let's go for Aftermath.
okay. Not much to say here, folks, about Aftermath. Just a little excerpt from the new book Aftermath. Life deaths, hold on. Aftermath life debt. There you go. Basically, this film is going to focus pretty much on Han saving the Wookiee from Kashyyyk, which was hinted at in the first book, and I think they're going to just focus on this in the second book. I'll read just the crawl part of the book because I don't want to go into the whole excerpt. So, here we go. The galaxy is changing, and with peace now a possibility, some dare to imagine new beginnings and new destinies. For Han Solo, that means settling his last outstanding debt by helping Chewbacca liberate the Wookiees from the homeworld of Kashyyyk. Meanwhile, Nora Wexley and her band of rebels pursue Admiral Ray Sloane and the remaining Imperial leadership across the galaxy. Sloane, increasingly wary of the mysterious fleet admiral, desperately searches for a means to save the crumbling empire from oblivion. Even as Imperial forces fight to retain lost ground, Princess Leia and the New Republic seek to broker a lasting peace. But the rebels' hunt Admiral Sloane is cut short after the disappearance of Han Solo and Chewbacca. Desperate to save them, Leia conscripts Nora Sinjir, Joss, and the rest of their team to find the missing smuggler and help them in their fight for freedom. Oh, thanks. Okay, sorry folks, just getting some new links here. So yeah, that's all. That's just the excerpt of Aftermath. There's not much to say really. The book comes out like around May-ish. I think May.
Where in the timeline does this happen?
A few months after Endor. Like
Oh, okay.
6 months, is it? I forget.
So this is still canon,
Yeah.
despite
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is the new stuff.
all the extended universe thrown out
yeah.
the window.
Yeah, this is new stuff. Let's see. This comes out. No, goes on sale July 19th. Okay. So I guess unless anybody has anything big they want to say, you want to go with Suicide Squad?
Well, just that. I'm still kind of sad that Aftermath isn't really doing, or not just Aftermath, but the new continuity hasn't really done much big stuff in the EU yet.
Well, New Republic, new.
It just started.
Well, yeah, but I mean, the old EU started off with the Thrawn trilogy.
Last Stars
That's
is pretty
definitely
good.
true, but it had like 30 years to put itself together.
Let me put in.
People kept making books.
New
But the
Republic.
thing
Blood-
here, the sad thing so far is that it hasn't really been symbiotic with the movies as much as reactionary. Like, it would have been nice to see, like, you know, Ezra has that crossguard lightsaber in Rebels, but they only saw that after the film came out and stuff like that. Like, I think it'd be nice to kind of set stuff up in the books and then have it be in the movies.
I'm still hoping that Thrawn is the leader of the first leader of the First Order. That's all I want.
He's totally going to be the Rogue One guy.
You think it's the Rogue? You think the Fleet Admiral's the Rogue One guy?
One of the three guys in Rogue One who are a mystery.
That could be.
One of which might not even be a person; it might just be an energy thing.
Oh right. The guy he kneels to, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm looking forward to New Republic Bloodlines. I think that's going to be pretty cool. That's the big one. I have really nothing to say about this film, to be quite honest. Book. Just next one. It's just coming out in July.
You gonna read it?
Yeah, probably. I gotta find out who the mysterious admiral is. Although that's
It's
probably
funny because when you said life debt, I thought it was the other way around. When in the extended universe originally they told that Chewie owes Han a life debt, or was it the other way around? I can't remember.
Chewie owes him one because he saved him.
I think they still. I think
Yeah.
Han still owns. I think Chewie still owns Han a life debt. I just think Han wants to. Wait.
That hasn't been thrown out of the canon.
I don't think so. There's
So, I mean, like it is before Episode 4, so they could just keep it. I don't see any reason why they shouldn't. Or well, they might do that in the Han Solo film that they're going to do, supposedly.
They'll probably set it up there,
Yeah, it's true.
or at least show it there.
I think so. I don't know. Well, I got this.
Well, we definitely know that that's going to be Chewie's like origin of how he met Han.
It's probably.
Which I don't want to have that. Rasco's right. It's gonna be like Han like putting on his jacket for the first time, and oh look, it's him with his rifle for the first time, and oh look, it's the Falcon, and oh look, it's Joe. It's like, yeah, that's gonna be what that is.
It's still the Obi-Wan anthology film, though. And I know Ewan McGregor really wants to do that.
Hmm.
And Rogue One. There's always Rogue One. Yeah.
Wait, they're doing an Obi-Wan film too? Good
They
grief.
might,
I know Ewan McGregor really
Well,
wants
or
that.
it's already in production, and we just have no idea.
No, I think
well,
I know.
they gotta get money. That's-
Well, I know Ewan really wants that. Okay, I have nothing to say. Suicide Squad.
Spider-Man.
Oh, right, Spider-Man. Which one? There's so many. Well, just start from the beginning. Let's just
We
start.
got the title for the new Spider-Man film, which is
Homecoming.
Spider-Man F.U. Sony. Oh, sorry, I mean Homecoming.
You gotta love it.
Come on, we all know that's why that title was chosen.
Yeah, I love it.
I think it's just Sony doesn't know what to do with their product. Okay?
No, they do not.
They don't.
Nope, no, they don't. But you gotta love it though. Homecoming. I hope there's a homecoming dance. Whoa. Is there an actual comic book called Homecoming?
That is the name of the issue. What are you saying?
There's like several different Homecoming ones of Spider-Man.
Yeah, like when he comes back from Secret Wars. No, that's Homecoming. Then there's Coming Home, which is the first arc of JMS's run.
Okay, so there is a president, but yeah, this is pretty much it's Marvel's victory dance. Marvel's up the ante because they got their Spider-Man, who's gonna appear in Captain America: Civil War.
Well, I'd seen an interview with the Civil War directors, and they were saying they had like filmed Spider-Man in the film like really early on, and like every other week the guys would like Sony would have people come in and say, "We're not sure if we're going to let you have him in the film." I was like, "Wow, you people are horrible." Just give him Spider-Man already. Good grief.
Yeah, like Sony can make those threats anymore.
Yeah, they just kind of have some of the pull though.
Yeah, but let's face it, Marvel. This whole thing is basically Marvel's going to make Sony money. Let us do our thing. That's how it's gonna work.
Though actually, funnily enough, the thing that I think a lot more people are excited for so far is the thing that's headed by Sony, which is the animated film, because it's going to be. Aren't they doing like the voice actor from Spectacular or something for that?
I don't know. I haven't heard much about it. Quite
I'm
honestly.
forgetting.
When they showed this, like the whole pic of Spider-Man Homecoming, I thought that was the title for the animated one. It looked very animated.
That's what I thought until like a few days ago.
Yeah, then they said, "No, this is the real deal," and I was like, "What?" Like, I'd get it more honest if you're like, this was like a direct-to-DVD animated film or something.
But Red, didn't you say you actually liked the Amazing Spider-Man movies, or somewhat like?
Oh yeah, I much prefer them to the Raimi ones.
They're about the same to me. I don't really have a favorite out of the bunch.
Kind of skipped over the Amazing Spider-Man ones, to be honest. I kind of wasn't into superheroes at the time, and they just came out at the wrong time for me. I don't know what I was into at the time when Amazing came out. Maybe with Dark Knight. I don't remember. But yeah, Spider-Man Homecoming, and boy, there's a lot of news for that one. Already, we got some names, people. We got Laura Harrier. Hey, Laura Harrier?
Yeah.
Laura Harrier, for this,
As significant role.
yes, significant role. And also we got Zendaya. Apparently
Yeah,
the Disney
I
Channel.
guess that's the name.
Apparently the Disney Channel star. Oh yeah, I remember her from stuff. You know, just because you're a Disney Channel star doesn't mean you can't be that bad. I mean, give a good direct. Well,
But yeah, it's interesting they're casting a lot of younger actors for this so far. I mean, Peter, they already said, is in this universe going to be 15 years old.
No, we do have our first I guess it's gonna be our first kid hero, and well, since well, no, not even the old Spider-Man films really had a. Well, Amazing Spider-Man's actor looked pretty young to me, but then again,
He was 30, but yeah.
Well,
I
they were
guess that
they were
kid in
trying
Iron
more
Man
of like
counts.
they were trying to make him more like the comics. So
Mm-hmm.
and there's rumor that Michael Keaton, the original Batman of 89 Batman, folks, might be the villain. And the big rumor is that the villain's going to be the Vulture, who I've never heard of.
You never heard of Vulture?
Nah, I only know the big names: Doc Ock, Green Goblin, Hobgoblin. I know.
Wait, like this
Well,
week you found out the Vulture existed.
I've heard of him before. I just never didn't know he was a. Well, I've heard of him before as a Spider-Man villain when people were talking about him, but I didn't know of him from the comics or anything.
You can do Marvel stuff.
I know more Captain America. He's my kind of favorite guy.
But it's Vulture.
Is he
well,
like?
the Vulture isn't that interesting compared to a bunch of other Spider-Man enemies.
But he's an elderly dude who kicks Peter's butt. That's awesome.
That really.
Well, I've always seen him more as like Spider-Man's version of the Penguin. He's really kind of pathetic if you think about it. But he's still like one of his big villains.
And of course, then he can always do so much damage, but never really realizes it. Kind of like Shocker in some incarnations.
Do you think they're gonna set up though? The classics like Green Goblin and stuff. I mean, they're gonna eventually do them. They are.
Yeah, I know they said that they're doing a villain who, like they said, definitely their villain will be somebody we haven't seen yet on screen. So that means, pretty much everyone, because we've only seen Sandman, Venom, Rhino, Green Goblin, Electro, and Lizard. I think that's it.
I'd love to see Hobgoblin, because he was voiced by Mark Hamill in the cartoons.
But you'd have to wait a while for Hobby.
That's true.
They might be doing something like Batman Begins, where they said it was going to be Scarecrow, because nobody had done a live-action Scarecrow yet. And then you see in the background sort of more of the bigger Spider-Man villains.
What was
and that
weird
would
with
maybe
Scarecrow,
for the sequel.
The Scarecrow thing actually is the justification a lot of people have for Vulture. Because Vulture was supposed to be in Spider-Man 3, and with Scarecrow, famously, he was supposed to be in the film that, up until, I guess, recently, we all thought was called Batman Triumphant, which was going to be the, fourth of the 80s and 90s Batman franchise. Apparently, that was never the name. But that film had Scarecrow in it, and that, of course, got cut. Then they wanted Man-Bat, then they wanted Scarecrow again and again. Never happened. Begins came around, and they were like, damn it, use Scarecrow. So they did. And that might be what they're doing with Vulture. I'm thinking it's possible they're doing Black Cat as well, because she was supposed to... I mean, she was set up in Amazing Spider-Man 2, and then now the former future Black Cat is in Rogue One.
Well, the only problem with that is Black Cat is not a main villain. It's like the same with like Catwoman. She can't fulfill a full movie as a villain. You gotta have someone else.
Well, they just said that a villain will be... I mean, you could always have two villains. They just said they will have at least one who is a villain we haven't seen before. So they could do, the main villain is a Green Goblin, and then Black Cat's just kind of around, and that's kind of part of the more personal story for Peter.
Well, that was more of what I was saying with the Scarecrow is the real villain of Batman Begins was Ra's al Ghul, but that was in the background happening, and then later on he comes back in. You could do the same thing here. Have Vulture be this, and then you have someone else manipulating him. I just wouldn't know who they would choose. Because it would seem... Well, it'd be kind of petty to use Osborn. Yeah.
I guess you could use Hammerhead, Silvermane, Slaughter.
You could use the Jackal.
Oh, yeah, the Jackal could work. I mean, you could even tie in Punisher somehow because he manipulated him in Punisher's first appearance.
I think with what they've done with Daredevil, they can't do that.
But I want to see Punisher I want to see like Grotto's death scene, but in a Spider-Man film.
I want to see
No.
Kingpin.
Like it's all bright and happy, and then you have like all of a sudden Punisher like talking about like shooting people's faces and like getting a drill through his foot.
Think they're gonna ever use Spider-Gwen? I've been hearing like that's a big thing apparently.
It's
Well, they
actually
haven't
a
done all
really
those
good
yet.
comic book run.
But sorry, repeat.
Oh, sorry about that.
Oh, I wonder when they're going to do alternate Earths.
Oh,
Is
I
that the next
don't-
step after Infinity War?
I don't think they can do that right now because DC's kind of doing that on TV. And they've been doing it for a while now. So, but I mean, I would love to see Spider-Gwen just because it's a really good comic book run right now. I've read all the issues.
who do you think is gonna be Spider-Man's love interest? Gwen? Are they gonna go back to Gwen Stacy?
Well, they said they already cast the character. It's Zendaya, no last names. Character named Michelle, who he had a love interest called Michelle during the like post One More Day stuff. What was it called? Brand New Day, which was horrible.
That's the worst storyline ever created for Spider-Man.
And so hopefully they're not using that character. I mean, Dan had a good idea of, since Liz Allen in Spectacular Spider-Man was Hispanic, that could be what's going on, and this is just Liz Allen.
Yeah, because he's got Betty Brant, Liz Allen. I don't think they'll do Betty Brant just because she's supposed to be with Ned Leeds, who's a horrible, horrible character. It could be no, Deborah Whitman is like as white can be in the comics.
Yeah, but Deborah Whitman needs to be brought in somehow because there is no other. I mean, once you introduce Mary Jane, there is no purpose for Deborah Whitman to exist. Well, she's kind of just Gwen ripoff number 15.
Yeah.
Because I've read every issue she's appearing in because I own the Stern Run and Mantelo stuff and trade, and dear God, that character is pointless.
I don't know.
The sad. You want to know the sad thing about my knowledge of Spider-Man? I know Spider-Man more because of a fan fiction that's on a My Little Pony fan fiction called Spiders and Magic. That's how I know my Spider-Man, and that is sad. And it's because it's amazing. It's an amazing Spider-Man too. It's based off of those movies. It's based off of those movies, man. It's based off of those movies.
What the Amazing Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Okay.
Speaking of that,
Oh, you know what? I just realized if they had Fox, they could totally have this person be Kitty Pryde, and they could do the Ultimate route.
Yeah, that would really work, but it's no way they could do that.
Yeah, that would be the weirdest way to bridge the gaps between the companies.
Speaking of, I just thought of this. How far into Spider-Man's career are they gonna go? Like, are they gonna have like already established villains? Like, is the movie gonna start out with like random Spider-Man villain already established doing his thing, and then Spider-Man's gonna stop him, put him in jail, and the Vulture is being created throughout the movie?
Well, Spider-Man, like the first 10, 15 something issues basically established like over half his rogues gallery.
Oh yeah, like issue 1 is Chameleon, issue 2 is
Vulture.
Yeah, and Tinkerer. Issue 3 is Doc Ock. I think issue 4 is Rhino, Sandman.
No, number 4 is Sandman. Number 5 was actually Doctor Doom. He actually got to fight him really early on.
I miss Doctor Doom. I want him in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah,
It feels empty without Doom.
Yeah, I've always said, I talked with some other people before this, like, one of the big things that I've thought always hurt the Marvel films is that they just don't own Doctor Doom. It doesn't matter that they don't own the Fantastic Four. They don't own Victor Von Doom, and
Because Doom could be a recurring villain throughout the movies if you really wanted him to be.
Oh yeah, he's. I think most people consider him one of their best villains
He is
Marvel's ever had.
he is one of their best villains.
Oh, and it was Lizard for issue 6.
That's right.
Issue 7 was the Return of Vulture.
And then there was Electro was next, I think.
Uh,
It's like the
Next
first
was
20.
the team up with Johnny.
Oh,
9 was Electro, and then What was issue 10? Issue 10 was
in the
issue 10
brain.
was the Enforcers.
No.
Who
Oh,
actually
that's
they would be
right.
interesting. That actually
Yeah.
be pretty cool to see them.
Well, you could do the Enforcers and the Big Man.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I still, just because of how goofy and silly it would be, I want to see Mysterio. Just because of how
That would be
stupid that would
awesome.
look. That's so. That actually,
They might. I mean, I'm curious. Like,
Oh, he was
I
issue
want to.
13.
right?
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna be interesting since the way you describe it is that basically Spider-Man's Rose Gallery doesn't take long to establish. So the movie could start out with just pretty much everybody around. Although well, maybe not everybody, because but
Well, like
a good
early
chunk.
on, he got a full team of supervillains all take him on. So,
Somebody actually suggested doing the Sinister Six in the first film. Surprisingly,
that's too early.
Hmm.
And it just.
Sam's channel just suggested that read for anybody if you're interested.
I think at most they should just do at least two villains per film. I mean, just.
Two or one, yeah, that's good. Maybe, or maybe like do what Winter Soldier did. Remember in Winter Soldier, Cap fought like a D-list villain. Just set it up. He wasn't big or anything. He was just like showing Cap doing his thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he takes on
Batroc.
Baltrock the Leaper.
Right. Just like have Spider-Man take on some wacko guy just at the beginning. He's like robbing a bank or something, and then have the big leader villain show up and do his thing.
Well, like, okay, they could start off by taking on the Enforcers, and then you bring in like the main henchman who is being manipulated by whoever the big bad guy of the film is.
Right. Right.
Actually, another good one would be Scorpion. That would be actually really neat to see.
Especially
They definitely have the
because this is a high
CGI
school
for it now. What was that?
especially because this is a high school Peter, so dealing with people getting in over their heads could be tied back into Civil War, because that's what happened to Scorpion, that's what happened to Peter in that movie.
Speaking of
Well,
high school, sorry, you go.
well, they could also do Ultimate Scorpion, who is actually a clone of Peter.
Oh,
one
yeah,
of his
that.
clones.
Speaking of high schoolers, do you think they're gonna set up characters like
Flash.
no, well maybe Flash, like the guy who's Venom, like what's his face?
He was college, or
Oh, he's a college
Eddie
kid?
Brock.
Eddie
actually
Brock.
out of college. Yeah, that was a coworker.
Okay, so Eddie Brock wasn't a high schooler. Okay, I thought they were.
Unless it's the Ultimate Universe where he's
I
older
think
than
they-
Peter.
They need to stay away from Venom for now. Don't immediately chop there.
Well,
Same with
Yeah,
Carnage.
Sony apparently is still going to do a Venom film.
That's so stupid. That's the dumbest move.
It's like the Catwoman without Batman film.
Yeah, well, let them do it, and then we'll just ignore it and just go with their death. I know I would bet money for a fact that they're gonna set up Oscorp. I mean, it's kind of like a staple of Spider-Man at this point, just in the movies. I am actually excited to see the Oscorp building somewhere. That's gonna pop up.
What I'd actually like them to do is to do the Miles Morales story in terms of they could use Roxxon because they've already established Roxxon in Daredevil, and I think that would be like a neat connection.
Oh, that'd be cool. I don't know though,
Because-
because the TV and the
No, Roxxon is also in Agent Carter and in the background of some stuff, and it's Roxxon was I think in Iron Man 2,
Okay, then they could probably
Yeah.
if it's in,
Yeah.
just in cameos.
But because in the Miles Morales run, that's where he gets his villains basically. Is Roxxon that he doesn't really except for one time, he doesn't really take on any of Spider-Man's villains.
Oh, maybe they're
Takes
gonna
on
do like they're gonna bring in the famous villain created by Roxxon, and Will of the Wisp,
Ooh.
because that was so great and wasn't a waste of 20 issues.
oh,
Seriously, it was so freaking long. Like his origin reveal is like a 3-issue arc, just the reveal of his origin, because they wanted to do the Green Goblin mystery all over again, but it sucks.
Ooh.
what do you mean? Or do you mean like more like the Hobgoblin mystery? Because that took forever.
At least Hobgoblin was interesting.
No,
They hopped around like 5 different people. So
What I'm just excited about is hopefully maybe I can get a dream.
Yeah, but this guy like tried to kill Peter over and over, and then would be like, "I'm not the bad guy." Like you just tried to stab Peter with like a freaking like pole. Like you're totally the bad guy.
Well, at least I can live in a world where hopefully one day Oscorp will be secretly supplying weapons to Hydra. That's all I ask. And of course to eventually resurrect Baron von Strucker. Greatest MCU character ever. Strucker! No. You can tell I'm crazy. You can tell I'm a crazy
see that
person.
happening.
You can tell I'm a crazy person.
Maybe that's what Thanos does when he gets the Infinity Gauntlet. That's like his big thing.
No.
Structure.
I actually know.
That's the way the film ends.
No,
He's
no.
like, I
Yeah.
have one lead up my sleeve, and that's how Infinity War Part 2 begins. His Strucker gets brought back.
No. I've actually thought about this, and this is probably never gonna happen, but it's my dream. And that, okay, you think like the final showdown between Thanos and the Avengers. Like you got all the Avengers. Captain America's there, Iron Man's there, but then suddenly Captain America finds himself separated from the group, and suddenly you hear like the winds begin to blow. It's all dark and stuff, and then you hear Captain America. It has been a long time, and then slowly from the shadows, the Red Skull appears, and the final battle is between him and Red Skull, because that's how it all started, and that's how it's all going to end. Captain America versus the Red Skull.
I don't know, it's against that bully from the theater.
I know, but
Because that's how it all began.
oh yeah, that's true. But so that actually would be cooler. It's just the bully was Red Skull. No, but I really want to see.
The bully was clearly like Howard Stark's like brother, who's actually Tony's father, and then it's all tied back in when Cap, when fighting Tony in the Civil War trailer, says, "I can do this all day."
Oh, that's right.
It's all tied in. Which actually, apparently, Tony does have a brother that he didn't know about,
I actually had a dream.
and his father's not his actual father, or something.
I don't think they're gonna do that. I actually had a dream once where I was watching Civil War in my dream, and then apparently Red Skull appeared, and he was on a space station. Like
Okay.
I really want Red Skull to come back. That's the one villain I care. Besides Baron Strucker, those are the two villains I want: Red Skull or Baron Strucker.
Well,
Yeah, well-
speaking of Red Skull,
Ooh, really?
Doctor Strange.
Dun dun dun.
That has to do with that.
Exactly. But yes, Doctor Strange. Benedict the first Doctor Strange trailer, and it looks really cool. Doctor Strange. Let's actually start with you, Casey. You said you read Doctor Strange, so what's it like for you, seeing as you read the comics?
Well, I will admit that it's a bit disorienting with the person they've chosen to be the Ancient One, which is what's her name? Let me look it up for a second.
Tilda Swinton.
Yeah, since the Ancient One is a guy in the comics, but even though I think they were saying that she's trying to be very androgynous in this, but for the most part, it looks like they've gotten the whole origin right. Do y'all know Doctor Strange's origin?
I'm not big.
Yeah, he's an asshole who crashes a car. He can't be a surgeon anymore, so then he goes and trains around the world like Batman, and meets this guy called the Ancient One. He teaches him stuff. Turns out that like this guy who he thought was his friend was actually, or who's training under the Ancient One, is actually evil. Baron Mordo, and then he becomes the Sorcerer Supreme, and everything gets really trippy.
Yeah.
Psychedelic, man. Far out.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, because originally Doctor Strange was made. I remember it was Stan Lee and Steve Ditko, and they sort of just made their own, like their Harry Potter before Harry Potter. Just their own magic and mythology to it. And of what they showed in that trailer, it looks really accurate. Like, even though it's a really tiny teaser, they mainly show just what it is. The big thing I'm really more asking about the film is who exactly is the villain in this? Because
It's that guy with
if
the weird eyes.
yeah, because they haven't revealed who that person is, like who that's supposed to be. Because it's
I'm thinking it,
obviously
I'm thinking it's a herald for Dormammu.
well, the only problem I have with that is the fact that in the comics, Mordu is the servant of Dormammu. So I don't know why they would have someone else be it. But I'm then again, they just haven't revealed who that person really is. So I don't
Hmm.
know. I just hope that they can like do all the stuff right. I hate to say I really wanted them to show up the cloak of levitation, which they did not,
We know he's
but
gonna
I
wear it.
suspect that will be later on. So
We know he's wearing a cloak, so I've seen the concept. I've seen the pictures.
no, that cloak is what allows him to fly,
Oh,
basically.
okay.
Like,
Oh, okay.
this, yeah, this because Doctor Strange is one of the most powerful heroes and I really understand why they're doing Doctor Strange now because uh like because Infinity War um they're obviously doing the Infinity Gauntlet. That's how the Infinity Gauntlet starts out. Silver Surfer crashes on Earth trying to find Doctor Strange because he's the only one guy who can help him. That's how powerful Doctor Strange is because he knows that he can actually help take on Thanos. So otherwise, this teaser looks great.
I'm sure there's gonna
I,
be an Infinity Gems. Is there planning on making an Infinity Gem, or are all Infinity Gems counted for?
there's
Uh,
still time and soul left, so
So maybe Soul's gonna pop up. If
I I honestly think they'll save Soul for Infinity War because if they're doing Thanos, they've got to introduce Adam Warlock, and he is literally the owner of the Soul Gem.
they could save that for
So
Guardians of the Galaxy too, though maybe, because that's the
yeah, well, yeah, they could introduce him there. That would be fine. Because that is the one problem I have with the fact that they're doing Thanos is that the Avengers and all the Marvel heroes they don't really stand a chance against Thanos. Only Adam Warlock can actually really beat him. So no matter how many times they take on Thanos, they usually never beat him. It's usually only Adam Warlock that can take him on. So
it's kind of like when the JLA fights Darkseid and only Clark lasts more than a second.
yeah, it's like if the Joker really tried, he could beat just about any hero except Batman. He just can't beat him no matter what happens.
nope. Well,
So,
Superman could probably really hurt him if he really wanted to. Injustice.
well, they've done like 500 comics where Joker beats the living crap out of Superman because of something stupid.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Then Batman comes in and saves him. That always happens.
He's Batman. So yes, Doctor Strange looking good. Was that it in terms of news? Was there one more thing?
The Suicide Squad.
That's right, Suicide Squad. I forgot about that. So yeah, Suicide Squad second trailer. This looks still pretty good despite the reshoots I heard about. I'm not a Suicide Squad fan, so that complaint doesn't affect me, even though I know it's a big thing for Suicide Squad fans. I know Steve, our friend Steve. Hey, Steve. That's the Will Smith thing in the Suicide Squad issue. That's definitely there. But in terms of actually being a film, it looks pretty good so far. I have a little more trust in it than I did Batman vs Superman.
They haven't shown everything.
That's true.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Joker looks pretty awesome. I love if he's wearing his suit.
Batman's not a cold-blooded killer and is actually saving people.
Yes, he is. So far, they haven't shown unless we're missing something. But yeah, and it doesn't seem too jokey. Well, it seems jokey, but in the right ways for right now, at least. Who knows what we're
Hmm.
missing? So yeah, I have nothing much to say on this trailer either.
I mean, it's not a No, not psychedelic. It's not as psychological as I wish it was as a Suicide Squad fan, but it still seems at least fun, and it seems like it's playing with some of those ideas. Of course, a lot of that can get screwed over depending on how the reshoots go.
Right.
So you kind of have to wait and see for probably the third trailer
Yeah. I mean, to
or
be
TV
fair,
spots.
yeah. I think to be fair, I was listening to another podcast recently, and they said one of the problems with Batman vs Superman is there's too much story in that film. There's just like it should be more of a just I don't want to say like a completely brain dead punch him, rock him, sock him, punch him story, obviously, but it's trying to be too much and it thinks it's being smart when instead it's not. Instead, it should be just this focus on Batman vs Superman fight, and then they become friends. That should be the movie of Batman vs
They
Superman.
punched on their mates, to quote Mr. Sunday.
Yeah, pretty much. They're punched in their mate, and well, I hold no bars against anybody who says Suicide Squad is not psychological enough. I mean, I'm not a Suicide Squad fan, so I can't really be the judge of that or not. But I don't want it to get too bogged down in stuff that it's thinking it's doing, and lose focus and not be just a straightforward film. You know what I'm saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I understand, but this is the movie that's going to decide for me whether DC is doing it something right or not. Because as a non-Suicide Squad comic book reader, I'm going to be I'm the audience. I'm the target audience for this movie more than anybody, I think.
Yeah.
Right now, so yeah, I'm excited for Suicide Squad, if not just to see the Joker, because he's my favorite comic book villain. So I'm excited. Anything, Casey, you have anything to say or no?
Well, I mean, I'm actually a reader of Suicide Squad, and I watched these trailers, and because I've noticed like some people were like questioning why is Joker like taking Harley out of the vat in the first trailer, and I was like, no, they're doing New 52 Suicide Squad, which I don't mind, because they basically kept it the same. That was one of the few things where they said, let's not change anything for once. So the only thing I'm actually concerned about this, because one, they've got a team here. I like looked up, and they don't have Goyer or Snyder on this or anything like that. They have their own team.
David Ayers.
Yeah, which is why I'm hopeful for the Wonder Woman film,
Right.
because the team they have there is actually some pretty good prospects as well. I'm actually the opposite from you though with the Joker. I'm like, ooh, but I'm also a person that it took me when I watched The Dark Knight. It was about over halfway the film was done before I actually accepted Heath Ledger's Joker.
What's your preferred Joker? I mean, mine's always gonna be Mark Hamill, but I know. I mean, I
Yeah,
like other versions too. Don't get me wrong.
yeah, same here.
Jack Nicholson.
I prefer Mark Hamill. I thought that Heath Ledger was playing more of just a random psychopath than the Joker. So, but with this, I mean, besides the Joker's probably my only concern about the film, because otherwise everything else they've got here looks great. They've they look like they've got they've looked like they've got Harley Quinn right for the most part. It's more of the old style comic book Harley Quinn, not the New 52 one, which is more of an anti-hero now.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks like they've got Deadshot right and Diablo right. And
Actually, our friends of ours have actually we have friends who not happy about Deadshot, right?
Oh yeah, definitely not for me. As somebody who's obsessed with Deadshot, Will Smith is playing Will Smith.
Well, the thing about Deadshot though is that there's not a huge personality to him. He's one of those characters that he works better when he's interacting with other people. Like if you have him alone, there's not much there.
Well, that's kind of the point of the character, though, in terms of identity, and you have everything with the fact that he doesn't have an identity beyond his, he's solely based on the fact that he accidentally killed his brother when trying to protect him, and so like he goes after Batman and pulls his shot so that Batman will beat him up because it's the closest he can feel to having his brother back in a lot of ways, because he admired him, so that he admires Batman and that sort of thing. And it's the same thing with Rick Flag. Like he keeps referring to Rick Flag as his brother in the comics at points. and like he needs to be. He doesn't have a personality, but the problem is here he does. He's kind of Will Smith instead of being that
Yeah.
almost amorphous blob that truly does have a personality. He just doesn't realize it.
I'm kind of with you,
Well, I
King.
mean, at the same time, because I've noticed in these trailers, they show snippets of these characters' backstory. And we still see that. Trailers only going to show so much. It's going to try to show you what you want to see, or as
Well, the
close
problem is
as.
he's making jokes and stuff.
Yeah, but at the same time, they're doing that because of how utterly jokeless DC has been up to this point.
That's
So,
But what's
true.
scary though is he's making jokes since the first trailer, and then they're like, "We need to do more jokes." It's like,
Yeah.
the question right now really is, what is this film going to look like after the reshoots?
If it's like little, yeah, I agree. I'm a little nervous too about the reshoots. Like I don't judge movies by trailers anymore. To be quite honest with you, for good and for ill. I'll say that. I mean, I've seen movies like the Fantastic Four trailers before that movie came out. That I had a little bit of hope. I wasn't expecting much because I kept hearing so many bad things. But like the trailers did make the movie kind of look okay. It wouldn't be the Fantastic Four I would want, but I would accept it. I'm very accepting certain things. Same with Suicide. Same with even the second Batman versus Superman trailer. Remember that one, Red? Remember the second one?
Yeah.
that ruined everything.
No. That's the Doomsday one. The second one,
Oh, okay.
that was the Doomsday. Doomsday one ruined everything. The second one was kind of the more ideas one, which we thought was going to be the movie. So I'm
So you're thinking of the first trailer
no, I'm
because
thinking,
there was
Well, I think he's thinking teaser, then Comic Con,
I'm
then Doomsday, right?
I'm thinking the one that first showed the Congressman. It has like Superman coming to Congress, the lady
That's
saying,
Comic Con.
yeah, the Comic Con
Yeah.
trailer. That's the one I was thinking of.
Yeah.
That one made it look pretty good. Then the Doomsday one happened. The
then the
fourth,
third, which was actually pretty decent.
yeah, the third one. So
Yeah,
don't trust the
because if
movie.
they just done the third one, I think everybody would have been fine.
Right. So that one definitely. So I'm still hesitant. I'll agree with both of you in terms of Deadshot because I'm not gonna make any argument for Deadshot. I'm not. I don't have that authority. That's not my. I'm not going to make that authority. Deadshot. Joker. I actually do like Joker. Joker kind of reminds me of the Grant Morrison stuff in a bit, at least to me. And they're doing a little New 52. That as well. I know. I know. Oh, the name escapes me. Who's the actor of Joker?
Jared Leto.
Jared Leto actually talked to Grant Morrison, so that's going to
Mhm.
be interesting because I know a lot of our friends love Joker from Grant Morrison. So yeah, I'm just hoping it's a decent film. Be good. Don't be Batman versus Superman. Be good. That's all I ask. So yeah, that's it in terms of Suicide Squad. Was there anything else? Nope.
I
Animated.
don't think so.
I mean, like, I think that I will say that the other casting that they have in this film, I think, is spot on. Especially Viola Davis as Amanda Waller.
Yeah.
That's a great choice because that's the one thing I don't like in New 52. Amanda Waller is not supposed to be this thin, sexy looking woman. She's supposed to be this big, mean black lady.
Yeah, that's
I mean, they
the
What
call
she
her
was
the
always
Wall.
was.
yeah, she's the
And
wall.
Viola Davis works. I think she could do it really well.
Oh yeah, like I'm scared of her. I'm scared of her. Like
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot
This-
there was news.
Oh, there was?
Suicide Squad's, or not Suicide Squad, Killing Joke to be rated R.
oh right, I remember that. I don't think you had nothing to say about
Can't
that.
wait for that.
I think it's gonna be fine.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I love the DC animated stuff, and
Do you like the newer
if-
stuff or just like Batman Bloodline, Batman versus Robin?
I don't care that much for the stuff they've done that's trying them adapting the New 52. But when they do like the classic storylines, they do them really well. Especially when they did the animated Dark Knight Returns. That
Mm.
was amazing.
Which I just saw last night and I really enjoyed it too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm excited. I think it's gonna be fine. I mean, I don't see how they can mess it up too bad.
They got Mark Hamill coming back, so I'm like, oh, You got the right voice actor. Keep going.
It's gonna be interesting. I'm excited. I think my favorite was still Under the Red Hood. That was probably my favorite of the direct to DVD animated
Uh,
ones.
it'd be that or the Wonder Woman one because I think that is
Oh, that's
as
right.
close as I've seen, in terms of like them do Wonder Woman right. Though the Dark Knight Returns one, it's part two especially. I would also say is
Hmm.
like top three favorites. It's so good.
What about for you, Red? What are some of your favorites of the DC direct to DVDs?
Under the Red Hood, Superman vs. the Elite, Dark Knight Returns,
Oh really?
the usuals.
Oh, okay. So yeah. I have nothing to say. It's I hope they earned that art. That's all I ask. Make it art.
Which Bruce Timm said that he thought it was actually going to be PG-13 after they finished it, and they I've seen a lot of people say like, oh, they sent it in and DC said, oh no, you guys can go all out. That's not how this works. You make the film and then you send it in, and then they judge it from there, and that's the best way to do it. It's the same thing with Arkham Knight.
Right.
That's the best way to get a rating like that, because if you go in with the intention of making it PG-13, or if you go in with the intention of making it R, you can go too far in one direction.
Right. So I think that's a good sign when Bruce Timm said, we were planning on, we thought there was going to be PG-13, so they weren't trying to make it R. They just that's what they got. That's what they got. So
Yeah. I think the only time when you're said like you're allowed to go all out is if you knew there was going to be restrictions in the first place.
right.
But a great example is like the Deadpool movie when they finally said, "Hey, just do whatever you want." They said, "All right, we're gonna do whatever we want."
Oh, they did.
Oh
Yeah.
boy.
Well, yeah. Although there's still some movies I think that don't have to be as rated as they are. I still think, for the most part, you could have gotten away with a PG rating for Force Awakens. I don't think Han Solo getting stabbed that's scary. I mean, Anakin getting burned, maybe a little bit. I mean, I wasn't that scared, but then again, I wasn't as scared as a kid. Well, I kind of was, but for some reason, not with that. That never terrified me.
Probably because he deserved it.
Well,
That
I
too.
think it's also the war elements in that. You watch several, especially like the battle after they get out of the bar and stuff like that, where everything's being blown up.
That
I
wasn't
think
that
they would look at that in terms of kids watching it.
Well, yeah, I guess so. I mean, I do remember being in the theater, some kids crying when that happened in episode 3 of both I think mostly the Anakin stuff, and a little the...
Well, that's because you actually see people you know in danger, instead of just random senators you've never met.
Yeah.
Well, that, and let's face it, Kiara Mooney's getting killed from the back is kind of scary. And,
But no, he had that look on his face of just total betrayal.
Oh, and don't forget,
Or Ayla Secura getting
Oh,
shot
yeah.
after she's already dead, which is just terrifying.
That's true, yes. So, I think that's it for the news, guys. Anything else? Unless...
Yep.
Okay. So, everybody, that was our news segment. Thank you, and see you next time. Bye.